Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're talking about going all in on Tesla stock, losing money on Bitcoin, and how this gentleman next to me here is frameworking the future of his investment portfolio. This conversation is going to be very intriguing, offer some different insights. This is Vinny. He runs the Investment Club. I'm leaving the link to his YouTube channel in the description below. But first and foremost, welcome, sir.
Thanks for having me, Kyle.
Always a pleasure, man. So you've been kind of floating around in our chat groups. I've known you for quite some time. You've been liking my post on Facebook. So it's like, I appreciated you kind of coming on and just giving some fruitful insight from a much broader, different perspective. And I know a lot of people have been really debating on Tesla stock. It seems to be the same debate since 2019 when I was buying into it and all this stuff. And now like people are saying the same thing. Is it overvalued, undervalued? We're looking at this incredible revenue growth when GM and all these other companies are struggling with logistics problems. So first and foremost, your Tesla position, man. So give us some insight into that. How big is this position for your portfolio and just anything that you think is relevant here?
Yeah, so I've been in Tesla since 2019, holding strong, and I did the bulk of my buying, 2019, 2020, and then I've kind of been buying, smaller amounts in the last 2021 and this year, and it makes up 75% of my portfolio. So I am trying to, I don't want to sell it because I'm going to automatically, take a 50% loss to taxes. So I want to just let it ride. But I do realize, I like to sleep at night, so I don't want to have like 100% in it. So I'm, diversifying. I've always had a few other stocks, mainly tech focused. Although I'm trying to add, things like SCHD, VYM. I've got, index funds like the S&P is, my second or third largest position. And over time, just want to get more index based. I just think as far as the valuation, it's never going to be undervalued, and it's just I just see the potential here of it. This is like Apple, this is Amazon 10 20 years ago, and you go back to Amazon's PE 10 years ago, it was always ridiculous, right? You're never going to get it for a value, and it's kind of just like you believe in it or you don't. But me, like, I just follow all the aspects of the business, and as you mentioned, all these other companies that are struggling with supply chains, Tesla's got arguably the strongest supply chains built out. And when it comes down to it, I think obviously a lot of these shortages are going to get worse now that you have, everyone fighting over batteries, and obviously EV production is rapidly increasing, exponentially here every year. But you got to also think, who are the suppliers going to favor? You don't screw over your biggest customer. Tesla's building 1 million vehicles a year. They're going to have priority, when it comes to these battery partnerships, whereas a GM who is making, 100 electric vehicles, I think they're going to continue to face those supply chain issues. And, just paying attention to everything with Tesla, I truly believe that the cars, this is just the beginning. Like, we are really just at the tip of the iceberg, and for the potential of what they can do with power storage. They've got the best batteries with solar, even things like insurance. No one is talking about this, but Tesla insurance is now available in, I believe, 11 or 12 states. The goal is to get that to all 50. They're giving the buyers a cheaper rate, probably save you if you have a great safety score, because that's the other thing. So they have all your data. If you have a safety score above 90, you look at the numbers, you're saving 50% of what an Allstate or whatever your other, insurance companies will quote you. So it's just, when you combine all these little things, the cars continue to get better. They have over-the-air software updates. They're not standing still waiting for competition to catch up. But again, by the time competition is on parity with them, I think it's largely going to be too late. I just feel like we're really just getting started here. So I'm very excited for the future of Tesla.
Yeah, I feel like you're iterating a lot of what the Tesla bulls are kind of digging around in, but that endless bull bear debate between values and car competitors is always just very intriguing to me. But I will agree on the aspect of branding. I think with a company like Tesla is what's really going to propel that underlying business. And then hopefully we get those cherries on top with self-driving and all that other aspect of things. But to shift focus here a little bit, when we're talking about crypto, because I know you were involved with the Voyager aspect of things, do you want to just give some clarity into what happened and what your Bitcoin experience was? And then maybe we'll share the broader conversation.
Yeah, so Voyager was a company I had invested. I always viewed it as a very speculative investment and invested accordingly, very small portion of the overall portfolio. And that's where I owned the majority of my crypto, which mainly was Bitcoin, and then, a little bit of some other altcoins. It's very unfortunate because I was rooting for Voyager. I think it was a neat platform. I really enjoyed using it, but to lend out 60% to one company, I don't know why you would ever do that with 3 Arrows Capital. So they kind of put the nails in their own coffin there. And yeah, I mean, no one could have seen it coming this year with all these crypto companies are starting to go under, and clearly we're seeing now. The other drive for me was I was looking at my Voyager, investing through Voyager, basically as getting more dividends, because it was that passive income aspect is what drew me to it. It's like, oh, now I could buy Bitcoin and earn 4%, 4.5% on it. That's awesome. And in hindsight, yeah, should have been more focused on what is actually generating these yields and how sustainable are they, which clearly they were not very. But outside of that, yeah, so I'm lost basically. I'm down like 98%, I think, on my Voyager position. I think my cost base is like $8 a share. So yeah, it was a small position. I always, regarded it as a speculative investment. So not really into the whole crypto space right now. I need a little time to recover from this loss, but eventually I will get back into Bitcoin and owning it decentralized and doing it the right way. This has been a great learning experience of what not to do and what all of the, Bitcoin maximalists have been touting, the importance of owning it on a decentralized wallet or what have you. And when I get back in, that's definitely going to be the way I go about it. No more centralized platforms.
Yeah, that's the scary thing, right? Because like when we kind of went into this really big bull run, like I had a really hard time because I've been working with so many different platforms, whether it's Voyager, BlockFi, Ledin is a big one here in Canada, and they're all offering these APY prices. And I just never had the guts to take what was in my wallet and shift it over for the pure reason of this was purely unregulated, and all these businesses continue to be, right? And it's hard to wrap your head around the danger in that, let alone not actually taking the intelligence to realize that, this stuff isn't FDIC insured. So like in your bank account, if you're buying stocks and you're moving things around, there's no real way to lose that value. And if the stock goes bankrupt, hey, you're going to get some liquidation sales. You might be the bottom ladder, but you'll still potentially, if it's a good company and they have underlying assets, you'll get some kind of value out of it. But with crypto, you transfer it to the wrong wallet. You don't know what you're doing. Your computer's not secure. Like the instant moment it takes to lose it with no one giving a flying F, always kind of, sent the chill down my spine. But I, by God, no means made any money off since I've been involved with Bitcoin. I have been trading it in and out a little bit, but I think this has been one of those rude wake-up calls to the reality of this is a really profound technology. And anybody that hasn't just skipped and just said, forget it, I'm done with it, will start realizing that like there's a lot of capability right now with like Bitcoin's Lightning Network. People are actually using it for transactable purposes with no foreign fees, going to other countries, using the Lightning Network to buy Amazon cards and gift cards to buy things in countries, really just wiping out the middleman. And I think that evolution is coming. But again, you don't know what that means for the Bitcoin price either, right? Like these halving events and all this stuff, it's all purely speculative in nature. So unless the speculative and risk on market comes back, we could flatline for God knows how many years. And I don't look at it as much more than purely, if I'm buying it, I expect it to go to zero. And I think most people should probably approach it that way. So outside of that, I mean, like you said, you're kind of getting into the diversified method here of index fund investing, cost averaging for some diversity here. What's your kind of goals here in the next, 3, 6, 12 months in this market volatility?
Yeah, so a big one is definitely I'm working on trimming down the overall positions in my portfolio. I think I have maybe 30 positions right now, and a lot of them are, very small, under 1% positions that I started building out, and then I just was like, there's better opportunities. I just want to cut down the amount of individual holdings I have because at the end of the day, nobody can track 30 companies. There's no reason to. You might as well just own an index at that point. So I want to kind of get it to the point where maybe that means I have 5 or 10 individual companies that I really like, or I like, the dividend, long-term, just kind of life ownership aspect of it. And other than that, I just want to get more into indexes and also having just more cash on the side. There's another thing I want to do is I got into doing options. Mainly, I like to sell the puts and calls and try and generate some extra income. And the reality of options is if you're going to do that, if you're going to do like the wheel strategy, you just need a lot of capital, but it seems like a pretty surefire way that you can consistently make a good income as long as you're doing it with the right companies, not the super speculative ones, which that's a lesson I learned quickly, early on. I say I've been into options for like 2 years, and then I really started, actually investing maybe about a year and a half ago. And early on, I was drawn to those companies that have huge premiums, like your Palantir, like your Wish. But the reality is they have these huge premiums for a reason. And so, I'm selling puts on Wish at $8, saying it can't go any lower. Here we are, it's at like $1 now. So learn my lesson there. And what I want to do now, if you sell puts on the right companies, for example, I just sold one on T. Rowe Price, 120 strike, made 300 in premium. And the only problem is, like, obviously it takes a lot of capital because you're working in increments of 100. So that's $12,000 tied up right there. But monthly, if you have enough money, I just see where I can start to use this as a cash flow machine, then start pumping that cash into the stocks I want to buy or living expenses, whatever it is. So those are my two goals. I want to just kind of cut the portfolio down. I already sold Johnson & Johnson. I'm eyeing Alibaba, Scott's Miracle-Gro, a couple of my other positions that I'm looking through the reports right now, not really seeing anything that I'm impressed with, at least with Alibaba and Scott's. And I just feel like that's money that could be better used, either indexed or, like I said, just a cash position to play more options. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
On that note, Vinny, 6 to 12 months from now, you think we're higher or lower in the stock market? Again, this is just fun because God knows nobody knows, but
I think 12 months higher, 6 months. I think the end of the year, maybe inflation starts to come down, hopefully, whether we've peaked or not already. But there's so much that could still happen. Now we got China is stoking the fire with Taiwan. Like, it's just like one thing after another, and the lid can blow off at any minute. So I'm still just dollar cost averaging. That's all you can do. You can't time it, but I am being more conservative, and I'm not totally convinced that we're out of the woods yet. But I think a year from now, I'd be pretty confident things are looking up. But the next 6 months, still looking a little iffy.
But at this point, I will pass the question off to the viewers. You guys should check Vinny out. He's been a good follower of not only my channel, but in our groups. Follows me on Facebook. Known Vinny forever. Great guy. So go check out the Investing Club. The link's in the description below. Consider subscribing because perhaps we'll get Vinny on down the road here as well. But stay cool, stay awesome. And as always, we look forward to catching you in the next one.